Hello, Gary Champion, psychic medium and healer again. I'm on the bad boy list. I had a video jerked, just disappeared, and told that, and I protested it or challenged it. I know it's done by machine. They didn't just pick that video out. I mean, it was a short period of time. You couldn't have listened to it in the amount of time that it took to delete it. Anyway, I said, I don't think so. I don't think I did anything wrong. And they came back, bam, like that, and said, well, you did, and you can't post any more videos for a period of time. And if you get strike two, then we'll be looking at you, fella. So it's sort of a badge of honor, I think, for my little YouTube site too. And I got a strike last year. Now I understood what that one was about. This one I don't get, but I know there's certain phrases and certain words that are in their little algorithm of stuff that they put everything through that filter. And I must have had a combination of, and it basically was about a certain disease and a certain president's treatment of it. Hell, this one might get. It's funny they don't block me for a dirty word. They don't care. But to insinuate something, to speculate on something that they consider to be a done deal. And you know me, I'm not trying to risk anybody's life by giving false information. But that's what I was accused of, giving false information about a certain disease. And I didn't do that at all. Just saying, had it been handled a little quicker, we could have saved a lot of lives. That's all I'm saying. This will probably, you'll never see this either. Anyway, no big deal. And I'm up and running again. Apparently they didn't stick to their thing of a period of time. It's just a couple of days. But I did question it. Do you want to, I forget what it is. Some kind of a thing. It's not protest. Do you want to? Anyway, I said, yeah. But it just took a second. It's a combination of words that did it to me. Anyway, it's a very good little system they have in that every video that's shot by anybody goes through the YouTube system. You can use a $20,000 camera to shoot a video and it comes out looking like all the other videos. Why? Because they want it to be that way. They don't want this video to be so much better than that video. They're all MP4s and their system is set up to carry whatever it is they want to carry. So it doesn't matter what kind of camera you use, they're all going to be the same. And this is sort of like that. Certain words that are said. What was it? I think once I got in trouble because I was doing a reading in a restaurant. Waitress came up and I got something. My wife turned on her iPhone and recorded it. And there was some music playing in the background that had a copyright. And they bounced that one real quick. And they said, copyright laws say you can't use somebody else's music in the background of yours. Now, if that's what I was doing, there's plenty of free music online to put behind a video. I never put video music. I think it's distracting. But this was playing, and I just could to entertain everybody who was there eating their soup. And iPhone picked it up and they bounced it for copyright laws. I can understand that one. It makes sense. I can't, although I'm not deriving money from any of this. None of my stuff is monetized. Probably should monetize it. I think I've said that about 24 times. Nothing I do is monetized, so there's no income for me in it. But could have been, and that's their concern. So a lot of things they have in that little algorithm there that they put it through that we are unaware of. And I've done a lot of videos. I think I'm over 500 now, or maybe 499. But Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good concept. I just look at the headlines and say what comes to me. And the corporate world is not set up for guys like me who improvise in the world. Everything I do is an improvisation. I don't know what I'm going to say. I have no idea. My guys tell me what they want me to know, what they want me to talk about, and I say it. That it's just a very simple system. I do not sit down and think, gee, I can't say that, or I can say this, or I should say that. It all comes derived from the other side. It's driven from that. So I can see how maybe I get in a lot of trouble. I'm not up on a pulpit saying um, insurrection type stuff, which would get banned. Although free speech, where do you cross the line there? YouTube's a private company, and they determine the content that goes on their channel. It's not a governmental thing. It's a private company, so they alone determine what will show on it. It has nothing to do with free speech or democracy. Believe me, it doesn't. When you get into these sites online, they're privately owned. Their democracy is what they determine it'll be. You're being able to say things or not say them is determined by them alone. They have a whole bunch of people, I'm sure, that say, well, we can't have people saying this. And in the early YouTube, I was on early YouTube doing little simple videos. It probably got out of hand. People said crazy things and somebody went out and did it. So in large part, they're protecting the populace as a whole. And I'm not important. I'm just a casualty. So anyway, I'm watching it, hoping to do better, and not to worry about it. I'm not going anywhere unless they say I am. Someone's saying protests are going to increase in our country. A lot of protests, and it's about time. The things have gotten to the breaking point where First Amendment doesn't mean anything. A lot of things don't mean anything anymore. Why? Because you can hire a janky lawyer to get you out of it. And you notice Clarence Thomas voted against the voter rights law. I'm not sure what it was, but I just read about it. Didn't read much about it. But he wrote a 51-page dissent. It's about gerrymandering. The Supreme Court said gerrymandering is illegal and you can't do it. So they're, I think it was in Oklahoma or someplace, they're going to have to redefine the boundaries of where, because they're just artificially drawing a picture. And with this, it's to get votes, it's to win, it's to make money. It's all about money and greed and power. And I don't have to tell you all this, but that's what it's about. Controlling what the laws are in that area. Even though white people are outnumbered 2-1 by blacks, they don't have a vote because all the blacks are put in this little area, and this is determined to be white. So we've been fighting that since. I mean, this is Tom. What is it? What's it? Tom Joad. Jim Crow laws to keep people of color from voting. And they've been elaborate with it over the decades, where you had to answer a bunch of questions or they wouldn't let you vote. And the questions no one could answer. So, and they only asked black people those questions. So, you can't vote. You don't know the answer to these questions. That's not how it works. One person, one vote. And when you subvert that to gain power and money, you're wrong. You're never right. You're wrong. And yet a certain party has been doing it since the beginning of time. They're the same ones that did the Jim Crow laws. We can't let these people of color control our state. We can't let them tell us what to do. Why? Because you're superior to them? Although you may think so, I don't think so. Color has nothing to do with brains. Money has a lot to do with brains. Those who can go to law school or medical school or whatever kind of school they're going to, those are the people that control things. People with the brains that can get the money and go to college. So you can have a lot of brains and end up with nothing because they've determined that you can't go to college for what. There's no money for you. Anyway, I'm on my little pulpit again. If this gets banned, I'll explain it later. If not, if you have a YouTube site, tell me. This is what's going on. Anyway, I got a lovely thing from Granny Irish Tarot. Y'all know who she is. She has a little thing here on YouTube. Wonderful person. And a lot of people who had sites like mine are kind of disappearing. Why? Because they do it so often and so many times that it gets old and boring and they're just tired of doing it. And there's no money in it. And they get a lot of haters. This YouTube channel, we don't get a lot of, well, I don't get a lot of haters because I delete them. They come on saying blah, blah, blah. I turned into YouTube, start zapping people. Integrity of my YouTube site is what I say it is. And people have a right to say what they think as long as it's not detrimental. Anything detrimental to my YouTube site will be deleted, period. You don't like it, go someplace else. Don't come on here and bitch about something. Go someplace else because we're not listening here. Anyway, Peanut the Wonder Dog is not here. He's having a vacay in a kennel not far from here, which, funny enough, I wrote a book about 10 years ago. I was reading animals in a kennel. The dogs would tell me something, I'd write it in a book. So anyway, he's enjoying daycare. We get pictures from him every day. He's out in the green grass. He's got his own little yard. It's an expensive daycare for dogs. Not daycare. What is it? What's that called? Boarding. Very expensive. Daycare is not so expensive. Boarding, very expensive. So, and they say he's loving the girls because they usually have girls walk them and pat them and groom them and everything. Why? Because dogs like girls more than they do boys. Isn't that interesting? That should tell you a lot. Women are the glue that make things work. Anyway, he's at doggy daycare or doggy boarding school, and my wife is up north. As soon as she got there, that fire from Canada has made all that air unbreathable. So that's where she's at. And she has respiratory issues. So come back home. No one listens to me. But she's up there visiting her relatives. There's a new baby in the family, and she's a grandmother, and so she's just enjoying that. And I'm here by myself, writing on my healing book, which is something I've put off forever and ever and ever. Didn't look like I was going to be around to write it, but now it looks like I got this crap beat. And I'm thriving. So I'm back on that book. It's awfully quiet. Here's a funny thing. I was shutting some lights off, getting ready to go to bed last night, and I went in the other room and I stopped. You can hear footsteps behind me as I'm walking. And then I go head toward the bedroom across the TV room there, and I stopped. You hear these footsteps coming behind me. It's very interesting. Very, very good stuff. This is affirmation that the other side is always listening and always there and always watching and always taking care of. I am protected is what I was told the other day. That's a good thing to hear. I'm glad somebody's got my back because really in the world, nobody has your back. I've written it in this book. No one has your back except my wife has my back. It's good to have an advocate in the world to have your back. But most people don't have anybody that has their back. So spirits have my back. They're watching me, caring for me, making sure that I'm okay. And the strange thing is, I don't think I've talked about this. I've been getting large bursts of energy from the other side. It's not from here. Otherwise, you could see it. I mean, it'd be a blast. It'd be some, I don't know. Anyway, and it's just periodically. So and you feel all. It's just like if I were healing someone, they say that's what they feel: a big tingling, and then a warmth, and then things begin to get good. You know, things that didn't work begin to work. Things that hurt don't hurt anymore. Uh, the only thing I can guess is it feels like that. It's very warm, very tingly, and uh, goes on for 2 or 3 minutes. And when I get that, which I'm getting it now because I'm talking about it, I usually just stop what I'm doing and relax. You know, just go into a meditation, and the only thing I can guess is that they're healing me. They're not through with me yet. They have stuff for me to do, and that's a wonderment. Christian, you think your time is through? They bring you back. So, no fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching. I hope these videos are at least entertaining and informative. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing them. There's no point to doing them unless somebody gains something. If you feel this burst of energy, and mine hits me on the back, and it's just this tingling, glowing, and it just kind of, if you didn't know what it was, you'd probably get creeped out. But it's extremely tingly and cool and warm at the same time. It's a very strange feeling. And then my energy pop goes right up, and everything's good. So if you notice that, send me a comment on the YouTube channel, because it's an interesting phenomenon. I don't think everybody's ever talked about it, but it's happening to me so many times a day. I haven't counted them, but there's a gathering of spirits around me trying to protect me probably from myself. But the footsteps last night, you can just hear it. It's not someone stomping, but you can, it's like someone maybe has tennis shoes on and is walking behind me. You stop, and they stop, and go a little further. It's like they're following me. And then the energy thing. If any of you experience that, let me know. The world of the metaphysical is indefinable. You can talk about it like I'm talking about it, but you really can't define the wonderfulness of it. I don't even think that's a word. Um, it's a wonderful feeling to know that a spirit who has passed has got your back. It's trying to bring your energy up to make you feel better. It gives you answers to questions you couldn't possibly know. And I'm not teaching the Improving Your Intuition class. No one signed up for it. But that's what it was about. The class was about uh, getting answers from the other side. Improving your intuition to where you could do that, where it's real obvious what was going on. And getting answers to questions you can't get any other way. They hold the answers to questions you can't fathom. I can come up with a question. I can't fathom what the answer is. And they always tell me. If it's something I'm supposed to know, if it might cause a problem, they'll just say, you don't want to know that. So like YouTube. Anyway, no fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.